Hello, this is the Critical Advocate, and today we are going to review a film about Pinocchio. And I'm not talking about the Disney live action film Pinocchio. Please keep that live action film as far away as possible from me. I don't care that Tom Hanks is in it as Geppetto. I love Tom Hanks, but no, just no. Instead, this review is for the Netflix film called Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I'm sure everyone has already seen this film, but I really wanted to talk about it on my channel. I do love Guillermo del Toro and all his work, whether it's Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy Anyone, or Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. He's a master of creature design and a legendary storyteller. Just look at these creatures. Aren't they so cool and freaky and awesome? Del Toro knows how to bring something otherworldly to life through skillful practical effects. He has a distinct signature, of which I'm a big fan of, because it is so well refined at this point that it is instantly recognizable. His work treads a narrow line between the beautiful and unsettling, with a little bit of body horror thrown into the mix, and I absolutely love that. God, I do wish we got the Silent Hill video game reboot called Silent Hills, with him teaming up with Hideo Kojima. That would have been awesome. But anyways, let's get back to the review. Pinocchio is a classic fairy tale story translated into a gazillion languages with different interpretations. The core story remains largely the same and fairly simple. One day, Geppetto carves out of wood a puppet that looks like a boy because Geppetto wishes for a son. A fairy appears out of nowhere. The fairy thus grants the wish, and alive comes a boy made out of wood. And not in a psycho Chucky way, but in a friendly, hey, I could be your son or child way. Aww. Geppetto is extremely happy. The wooden boy goes by the name Mahmoud Hussain, just kidding, by the name Pinocchio. But the catch is that if Pinocchio tells a lie, his nose becomes long and elongated. So Pinocchio, a naughty and disobedient child, needs to find his place in the world by trying to become or act like a real boy.
Did you not flush the toilet?
No, I made sure I flushed. Duh. I first met Pinocchio, the character, not through the Disney film of 1940. Instead, the first time I watched anything to do with Pinocchio was a Russian, or rather a Soviet-era live-action many-parts film of 1975 called The Adventures of Buratino by Leonid Nechayev. Buratino means Pinocchio, by the way, in Russian. If you have time, I recommend watching it because although Pinocchio's voice can get on your nerves sometimes from how squeaky it is, but overall the film is great. The makeup and special effects still hold up till this very day. And very rarely, but it does happen, that I go back and rewatch some clips of the film for nostalgia's sake. The next version I met was through a book called The Golden Key, The Adventures of Buratino by Alexei Tolstoy. My mom used to read this book to me and my siblings, and it has really cool looking pictures. I love this book. That's Jiminy Crickets right there. That's Coach Basilio, the cat, and the fox, Lisa Alisa. They're the duo con artists. You probably know them from the Disney animated cartoon as well. And that's Pinocchio right there. It's a really good book. I ended up watching the Disney cartoon of Pinocchio way later in my life, and the Disney cartoon, although not as whimsical or vast in terms of its cast like the Russian many parts film or the book, is still a great Disney animated film. The live action film recently was extremely disappointing. Disney has really become idea bankrupt because they have no new idea or cool stories to tell anymore. So the easiest thing that they can do is remake the previous movies and make them live action, which is a horrible idea. Come up with new original stories, damn it. Disney, what's up with you? Fix your act up, man. The live action Pinocchio was so bad that I decided that I will stick to rewatching the old animated Disney films and not be anywhere near the live action films or anything related to Pinocchio for a good while. But then I was scrolling through Netflix and I saw Del Toro's Pinocchio, and with just one eye open, I decided to give it a watch. And boy oh boy, in a real boy way, I was so pleasantly surprised. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio may be rehashing the same old story, but this is done with a new layer of fresh paint, which breathes new life into the story. Del Toro's signature style is fused into the film, striking a good balance between the imperfect and unsettling looking Pinocchio, which was made by Geppetto, by the way, while he was drunk, Yes, I said it. Geppetto makes Pinocchio on a rainy day depressed out of his mind. And it shows because Pinocchio in this film has cracks, scratches all over his body, and other imperfect looking features. But you can't help but be charmed by the innocent and mellow voice of the character, which makes you genuinely like and root for the character throughout the film. I like how Sebastian J. Crickets, who's essentially Jiminy Crickets from the original film, the narrator and Pinocchio's heart and conscience, is entertaining and hilarious throughout. I like that Pinocchio has a hole in his chest in which Sebastian lives. He was in that hole before Geppetto cut down the tree and turned that portion of the tree into Pinocchio. So there is hilarious cover for Sebastian to see Pinocchio in one piece and root for him because essentially he is his house. Great voice acting performances are throughout the film. The film also has gained a lot of respect for me on how beautifully and skillfully and meticulously it was animated using the stop motion puppet animation technique. It blows my mind when I start thinking about how thorough and skillful you have to be utilizing puppets. It is truly a visual treat. I love the film and its visual aesthetics. This film is not only impressive in the animation department, but also the story as well. In many respects, it is a darker take on the story. Yes, all the big memorable plot threads are there, but added are fresh twists which make it instantly more enjoyable. The film really hits the nail on the fish out of water experience of Pinocchio, who is not acquainted with the world. The humans inhabiting it are alien to him as much as he is alien to them. There is a lot of charm and humor involved when he is trying to rationalize situations, but Del Toro adds his signature dark humor into it, showcasing that behind every gag there are horrific and unsettling events transpiring around him, especially when the film is set during the Second World War and a more fascist time in Italy. The film explores the themes of human experiences and what it means to be human very well. The film takes Pinocchio's journey to become a real boy much further by introducing humanistic experiences and truths about mortality, morality, death, and time into the mix. I did not expect the film to do that. Pinocchio must not only understand what it means to be a good and obedient kid, but also wrestle with the fact that he is immortal and that everyone else around him is not. What it is to be good and what it is to do the right thing. There is great commentary here about our human experience. Maybe this might be too much for children to understand, but that's the beauty of the movie, is that it caters to all age groups. My nephews between the age of 5 and 10 really enjoyed the film. This film seems to be a perfect 10, right? Well, not entirely. I don't really want to have a guilt counter for this film because it does a lot of things really well. But the choices taken to tell a more simplistic yet focused script plays up as a double-edged sword. Yes, the film deals with a lot of complex themes interwoven with a simpler story. There are characters which are part of the Pinocchio story for generations who are cut out from the film, like the con artist, namely the duo of the fox and the cat, Stromboli, the puppet master, or in Russian he's called Karabas Barabas, and his other puppets are not present here, and it might bother you if you really like those characters. And I think I'm one of those people. Seeing their depiction from the brilliant mind of Guillermo del Toro would have been a nice thing to see, and it is a missed opportunity. Having said that, the final verdict for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio from me gets a 9 out of 10. It is a great film and you should watch it. Some things like the missing characters might bother you, but it nevertheless deserves high praise for being able to deliver quite a bit using a simple script with a lot of nuance and depth. It is not easy to deliver a fresh take on a story reiterated hundreds of times before, but Del Toro manages to pull it off. Thank you for watching. This wraps up our case. Do let me know what you thought about the film in the comment section below. This was The Critical Advocate, an advocate by day and a critic by night. Till next time, Tasvidanya Khudafiz and bye-bye.